Hello YouTube, Mikey Carbonite Lab back again. We'll call this one part 3.5, I guess, of the whole series. But this is going to be going into the smaller subsection of classes. These are going to be the Force using classes. There are 3 of them in this book. Other books may have more, but just your basic classes as far as Force using goes. So bear that in mind here. So the Force Adept is strong in the Force, but follows a different path from that of the Jedi. For the Force Adept, the Force is more mysterious and more supernatural, and it provides aid as a magical quality. The Force Adept comes from a different tradition with different beliefs and a code of conduct from those of the Jedi. They are the precursors. Few Force Adepts, and the number who become adventurers are even smaller. Some call the Force by its familiar name, while others refer to it by some other that reflects their own traditions. So the Force Adept is a Force user that believes more in the supernatural, almost more of a mystical quality. I can see this as being similar to almost like a nymph in D&D or something along those lines, or maybe a dryad or something along those lines. But the Force Adept is pretty cool because it gives you the ability to have a Force character in your group without being bound to the Jedi tradition, which is helpful in a way, especially if you're having a campaign or a group that's a little bit on the more neutral side, not so much, walking around like they are out for, justice and truth at every turn. Definitely not a Jedi. So some of the vitality, let's see here, they get 1d8, so they're going to be a little bit more than the average, which is pretty cool. Their class skills are going to be based a little bit more natural, so they get like handle animal and climb and jump and sense motive, things like that. For skill points, they get 6 plus the intelligence modifier, which is pretty good. They have the ability to, as you level them up, they can start using the Force and unlocking some of the Force skills, but they actually have the ability to imbue a weapon, so they could, like she's chosen her staff, or you could do it with a sword or something, and imbue it with the Force, so you get pluses on your attack and damage. They can comprehend different types of speech. They can get Force Talisman, which allows them to imbue a talisman, which gives them some better defense. Force Secret, they can start to understand a little bit more in depth and use that information about the Force on pluses. So that's the Force Adept. Next we come to the Jedi Counselor. I got this picture here of this guy, this Sarian holding his head, and he's in deep thought. Jedi Counselor, he believes in finding a diplomatic solution to most things before he goes and resorts to violence. The Jedi Counselor uses the Force for knowledge and negotiation, seeking the most peaceful solution to every problem. As Force users trained in the Jedi tradition, characters of this class concentrate more on diplomacy, scholarly pursuits, and the spiritual side of the Force than on the physical activities. Healers and researchers seek to better understand the nature of the Force and their connection to it. Mentors and teachers hope to instruct others and pass on what they have learned. Negotiators and mediators are skilled at bargaining and striking compromises. Counselors train themselves to be versatile, able to handle many situations without reaching for a weapon. So Jedi Counselor is a little bit more bound by this belief system of the Jedi. So you have, if you're going to play this character, you have to be prepared to, play it as such. If you play a Jedi wrong and start to go a little bit dark, it becomes trouble for you. Cool things about the Jedi Counselor is that you actually start the game with a lightsaber. It's assumed that it was either given to you by your master, or you've got ones along the way, and you actually have the ability to build one later on, which will give you more benefits. Vitality, 1d8 per round. So again, you're up there. You're a little bit better than the average. Your class skills are going to be a lot of the diplomacy and things like that, like the noble. He's like a Force-using noble, I guess is the best way to put it. Gather information, but he can also intimidate and understand different languages. Diplomacy, of course. Let's see here. Some of the important things about the Counselor is that his wisdom and charisma are going to be the most important. So these scores got to be high for him because he's going to be trying to talk his way through situations for the most part, as he has to. So as they get their skills go up, they actually could get the ability to deflect laser bolts coming in some cases bounce them back and use them for attack. They can increase lightsaber damage, upgrade to a Jedi Knight, get healing, skill emphasis, block with your lightsaber. Pretty cool stuff. Credits, you start off with the 1d4 times 250. Jedi aren't supposed to be rich. They're just running around, they don't care about attachments or material items. So again, playing a Jedi, you got to remember, you're not about the money. So if you're used to being about the money, with typical other D&D campaigns and things like that, unless you played a paladin, it's a change to remind yourself that you're not attracted to money. You're there for a different reason. So the Jedi Guardian, which is the last one in this book here for the Force using classes, Force users trained in the Jedi tradition. Jedi Guardians combine physical training with mastery of the Force. Jedi Guardians concentrate on battle prowess, defense, lightsaber training, and physical activities. If the Jedi Counselors are the ambassadors of the Jedi Order, the Guardians are the defenders, protecting the Republic from all dangers. Few are strong enough in the Force and have the devotion to walk the Jedi's path, but for those few, they are awarded with a powerful ally. They walk in a larger world than those who neither feel nor heed the Force. The Jedi Guardian is going to be definitely more of your combat-oriented Jedi. Definitely helpful to have in a group, for sure, but you still have to maintain that Jedi tradition, the belief system. You're more geared towards combat. So you're going to be 4+ intelligence modifier on your skill points. Not that great, but your vitality is up at the soldier, 1d10 every level. The abilities that are important here are constitution and strength, but they also use dexterity. And much like the Counselor, you can start to up your ability to use your lightsaber as both defense and offensive weapon. You can turn into a Jedi Knight, use block, and eventually you start off a game with 1d4 times 250 credits. So you don't have a lot of money, as always, but that's typical of a Jedi. This section goes into multi-classing, which is for more advanced stuff, but usually that's not something you do for a few levels. Once you're into the character, I like level 5 as a cross class if I decide to do so. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to talk about that. So the 3 Force using classes are the Jedi Counselor, the Jedi Guardian, and then the Force Adept. Cool to have in the game as well. Really cool to play because you get to use your Force abilities, and it's very tempting, like the Force is, to want to use them for bad things. Use them in anger, and it's you can actually gain dark side points in this game. You can't forget that. If you're a Force user, not only can you get Force points, which are bonus points, to aid you in certain roles, but if you use the Force in anger, use it in a dark way, use the dark side to do something, you get dark side points, and then it starts to affect your body. It starts to affect your ability to move and do things. You physically change. Got to be careful with the Force using class. But when played correctly, it is an awesome class. I think one of these times I'd like to run a campaign where everybody in the group is a Jedi and they're sent out on a mission, just because it really gives everybody an opportunity to work together and just to be a super awesome Death Star group going out. They can pretty much handle whatever they come across. Maybe that's what we'll do in the future. So, wrap it up real quick. 3 Force using classes in this book, at least. Your Adept, your Counselor, and your Guardian. All really cool classes. Definitely, if you want to play a Force user of some type, because it is Star Wars, start with one of these. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging in there.